Hey, oh, we are live at FabCon. We're continuing to have interviews with all sorts of wonderful people that we're meeting at the conference today. Today we're here with Hunter DuMoulin. Did I get that close?
DuMoulin, but that was
DuMoulin.
close enough.
Dang nabbit. Well, welcome to Crafts BI. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing well. Happy to be here. Definitely
Excellent.
always a good time to be back in Vegas.
Yeah, yeah, isn't it though? So we've been asking people about fabric, but have you done anything Vegas as of yet?
I did get here a couple of days early,
Yeah.
and then I went to the Wynn for a couple of nights just to get it all out of my system.
Okay, all right.
Great time, though. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, what's your game?
I play roulette a lot and then
Yeah.
blackjack.
Okay, all right,
So-
all right. My wife is a big roulette person, and I'll admit I used to be a blackjack guy, and then I found craps, and
Everybody wins with craps.
yeah.
It's always a good time.
Yeah, that's super fun. All right, so Hunter, why don't you introduce yourself to the audience?
Yeah, so my name is Hunter DuMoulin. I live down in Tampa, Florida. I'm the head of data governance and strategy for a furniture company called Rooms to Go. We're just a regional furniture brand that goes as far west as Texas, as far north as Virginia, and we're kind of in the Mid-South, if you want to call it, into Tennessee.
Wow, that's fantastic. How long have you been there?
I've been there for about 7 years now.
Yeah, do you like it?
I do. I like it a lot.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I've gotten to do a little bit of everything. So when I started with Rooms to Go, I actually started as a consultant for them. We did a on-prem data migration, just moving from one data warehouse to the next, and then left consulting. Rooms to Go said, "Hey, we want to keep you. Do you want to do some independent contracting with us?" Said, "Sure." A couple months went by, and they said, "Hey, we really don't want to lose you. Will you come be an employee?" And the rest is history. So what started as kind of a back-end consultant, just ETL developer, turned into, architecting a data warehouse. And then we wanted to get out of Cognos. So we did a little bit of SSRS. This was around 2017. And then, we said, hey, let's just try Power BI. We didn't have any Power BI experience at all. So that's kind of when I just kind of went home for the weekend and did dashboard in a day. Never finished dashboard in a day, but knowing what I knew about the data warehouse, and I was the guy that loaded the data warehouse, it was very easy for me to get access to the data.
Sure.
And start to kind of mock up some reports, and then the rest is really history after that.
Oh, that's fantastic. Where is Rooms to Go on its journey with Fabric?
So we're kind of early on in the sense of where our Fabric footprint would be, but we've been in Power BI Premium since 2020.
Okay.
We have 4,000 plus active users on the platform every month. Over around 220,000 report views every 30 days. But as far as where we are in Fabric, we haven't necessarily migrated our data into Fabric yet. We're also a Databricks shop as well. So one of the phrases that people have also probably already coined is, I pitched it to our team a while ago, is Fabrics. Fabric with a K, and I made the logo a little bit orange instead of green, because we have to coexist, with our data engineering and data integration teams and keep a lot of people happy. So what we're going to do with Fabric essentially is we're going to use Databricks to kind of be that data management platform. It's really good at just kind of consolidating and storing all those different file types and data types, and then really turn Fabric loose into being kind of that self-serving analytics platform that everybody seems to always want, right? So you want analysts to get in there and play with data, but you don't want them messing up your production, right? So how can we give them access to the data as close to the data as possible without replicating it? So using mirroring and things like that, and kind of putting data in a place for analysts of all levels, whether they want to write the SQL to build, proxy reports, or they just want to build some basic reporting. Getting them in there. And so kind of the phrase that I like to say with it is bowling with bumpers. Not everybody's good with bowling, but if we put bumpers up, you're probably not going to end up in the gutter, and we could at least, you're going to hit something.
Oh, I love that, because I used to always say you want to manage for security so you don't hurt the company, as well as you don't want them to hurt anyone else. So that's exactly right. Like the bumpers are exactly that's spot on. I love that. Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. Now we've been talking with lots of people about what they've been seeing in Fabric, but I would like you to reflect upon your personal journey with Power BI and Fabric, and what's been your proudest, hey, look what we did moment.
So I think it's really, if you want to say that it's Power BI related, sure, Power BI was definitely the catalyst for it. But coming from a company when we had, a bunch of paginated and Cognos reports, you had really an organization of people that when we went to go migrate out of Cognos, there were like thousands of reports there. And, people would say, oh, this is important to me. And it's like, well, that's the same thing that somebody else has too.
Right.
Why do we have two copies of it? So you have the dysfunction of just multiple versions of the same report, some reports that are just a tiny bit different, right?
Yeah.
And then there's just flat out reports that are wrong that maybe people think are right or they know they're wrong, but there's a lot of mistrust in the data. And really my proudest moment is, in Power BI is really just the catalyst for it, but was changing the culture of the company to be more self-reliant and data-driven. We had an opportunity, and I tell people that anytime that you get a migration opportunity, to really, embrace the fact that you get to hit reset. What can you change that you didn't do right the first time, or things that you said, hey, if I could do this all over again, what would I do? Being able to say, hey, we're gonna restart with our data, and we're gonna put it into Power BI, and the data that you're gonna see in Power BI, like how do we kind of stamp that to be, this is credible data, this is trusting data, anything from the appearance of the UI and the UX of the reports, just to overall the support that they get, the data transparency behind the underlying data, right? Power BI is a big aggregator. You show somebody a number, but they want to know how you get there.
Sure.
Being able to kind of unroll that data and give people full transparency into it is huge. But like I said, taking 4,000 people that kind of were all over the place, and now everybody knows Power BI there, and everybody wants it. I think that's probably the biggest feat that we made.
Oh, that's absolutely fantastic. Now we are at FabCon. It's day 2 of the conference. Of the highlights that you've seen here, is there anything specific that stands out?
One of the big things that I like a lot, and this might be kind of like an unsung, underrated thing, was the announcement of being able to use Copilot outside of S64.
Yeah.
Being able to go lower. Obviously, if you use the Fabric Capacity Metrics report, it's set up to basically show you kind of where those compute units are going.
Right.
One of the big things about Fabric being that, hey, if you weren't in Fabric before, you're paying for Azure Data Warehouse, you're paying for ADF, you're paying for Power BI, in some cases premium. But having Fabric say, hey, we're going to take all 3 of those SKUs and roll them into one, and we're going to give you one browser window to do it all. Consolidating your billing's great. But you'll find that, as far as the Copilot piece of it goes, that's going to be using the same compute units that your report rendering and your report queries are going to use. But saying that, hey, you got to spend at least $5,000 a month to be doing this, it really cuts a lot of people out that want to try it, because even with the trial, you don't get the Copilot. You don't get the Copilot feature. So, they've always said that you're really going to max it out immediately. I don't want to quote whoever said that. I know who it was, but you've probably heard it too, that if we use Copilot with anything less than F64, you're going to blow up your capacity pretty quickly. Maybe that's true. We're going to see what happens after April 30th when they finally come out with that. But I'm really excited because you're going to have a lot of smaller players that are trying to test out the waters and see if they like Fabric, and being able to kind of see if Copilot works for them. And, hey, buy an F8 for $1,000 a month. And use it and see if it works. Because right now everybody says AI, and I have executives at my company saying, oh, I want to just chat to the data. I want to use Copilot this and Copilot that. And you're just sitting there going, yeah, but like it's great, but it's not whatever they sold you, it's not exactly that, right? We have to make our data better. We have to, do a lot of cleansing, a lot of model training. You really have to have all your ducks in a row to really get the most out of Copilot.
Yeah, I agree. One of the big things that they rolled out was the new Copilot on the homepage, where you're going to be able to ask questions. It's going to surface up the curated reports, but it means someone's got to curate those reports, right? You're going to have to tag reports, and we're going to have to take some energy is going to have to go into it, right?
Right, and it's really about trusting but verifying, right?
Yep.
I've always said that kind of using Copilot, it's not necessarily a replacement for what you're doing. It's like when Copilot's been made available, especially from a developer standpoint, it's like having a calculator in a math exam. In particular order of operations, right? Hey, I have this calculator. I don't really know all of the fundamentals of how it has to happen, but I can plug numbers into here and it's going to give me an answer. So, using Copilot, relying on Copilot, you definitely have to have your data, in order. And that's where I really think that all this talk about data engineering and everything, it's really, I think that's going to be kind of the last part that really gets taken out by AI and automation, because there's so much human element involved with
100%.
engineering that, yeah, you could automate it, but somebody has to look at it.
Yeah, I agree with you. One of the challenging questions I've heard from a lot of people is well, it's they're one of two opinions. Either like what we just talked about, hey, Copilot is great, or gosh, enough with Copilot. I want to hear about some real work, they call it.
Right.
What is your? I mean, because we asked you, what you went right for Copilot, right? What's your take on on people who are or just don't want to deal with Copilot? They just want to do it themselves. What would you? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, so it's kind of like the user adoption roadmap anyway, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to have people that like it, you're going to have people that don't like it. If your kind of strategy is to get as many people onboarded to it as quick as possible, I think the best way to do it is say, hey, if you want to use it, great. We'll support you using it. If you don't want to use it, great. We'll support you not using it.
Right.
It's really similar to how you get just consumers, onboarded with Power BI in general. So we had a lot of people that were really hesitant to change. They were creatures of habit. I used to see my numbers over here. I just want to see them over here.
Yeah.
Well, it's way slower. Just try this instead. And when you're trying to convince people to do things a certain way, the people that want to do them are going to do them.
Yeah.
It's way less energy when the person is excited about change and wants to do it. So the approach I always took was, let's take these people that want to learn it and embrace it, and they're going to be the champions in the room when we're not there.
Yeah.
4,000 people on this platform, we can't be everywhere at once.
Right.
But their peers that they're using their reports with, it's like learning how to ride a bike, in the sense that, hey, you're going to learn how to ride it, and the only way that you're going to get better at riding it is to practice using it every day.
Right.
But once you learn how to ride a bike, you're going way faster to all these places than anybody who's walking. And then you're going to have the people that held out and didn't want to learn it and whatnot. And those people are going to be the ones walking with their bike because they never really learned how to ride it.
Yeah.
So, cultivating a culture of people that want to use it and embracing that, but respecting the space and the opinions of the people that maybe don't want it, that oppose it in a sense.
Sure.
And understanding that, it's okay to change your mind, and people eventually come around. There's obviously some people that will never change, but you can't change them. So don't waste your energy trying to focus on those things.
I think that's a great attitude. My word of caution to anyone who's saying they're not going to be involved in AI is at least
not yet.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, if it's not yet, at least kind of be toying with it, be exploring it, because those models are updating every single. It feels like every day they're updating.
Oh yeah,
and
for
new
sure.
Enhancements are out there. Yeah. Fantastic. As you start to look at the other sessions, the other announcements, everything else, if you're going to talk to, like, what one other thing would you like to bring up and talk with users about?
I mean, really around, I guess, going back to just the engineering side of it.
Sure.
I think that engineering is more important now than ever.
Yeah.
Your reports are only as good as the data that's feeding them. Your Copilot is only as good as the data you're feeding it. Your machine learning models are only as good as the data that's feeding it.
Yeah.
And you really need to invest in doing it right, and not cutting corners with it, because at the end of the day, the most expensive thing is doing something twice, right? Having to
Sure.
buy something twice. Nobody wants to deal with that. So if you're going to fail at it, fail quick, fail fast, and make sure that you have a plan B to keep pivoting to keep going. But data engineering is, it's more important now, and I think that the people that are taking it seriously now, they're going to be in a great spot, 2 or 3 years from now, to see Copilot in particular. The last year when we were out here for FabCon, it was kind of a little bit newer.
Yeah.
It was really kind of, they were even marketing it more in the Power Platform conference that was going on too. And it was like, oh, look, it can build, certain things for you. But seeing it now, and kind of one of the biggest use cases that it is, and I saw it in Justina's session this morning, was around, hey, we could use Copilot to basically, whether we want to convert code from one platform to the other, right? You can do things that way, documenting your code, things that none of us really want to do.
Right.
Tagging, data dictionaries, all this stuff around governance, like being able to embrace Copilot around data engineering and kind of automating the task that nobody likes to do. but are, really necessary for everybody to kind of keep moving forward.
Amen, Hunter. Well, thank you so much
Hey,
for
I
taking some time
appreciate
out of
it.
your day.
Yeah, man.
It's great to have you on here. Thank you guys for taking time out of your day. Stay tuned. We're going to be continuing to do live streams from FabCon, talking to all sorts of customers, PMs, engineers, and I can't wait to hear who we talk to next. You guys have a great day now. Peace. No, wait. You must be tired. Great day. That's not how we end it. You have the best day
There you
ever,
go.
right? There we are. Holy cow. It's like I'm
Baker
getting
Tilly
lazy
Digital
over
combines
here.
strategic
Yeah,
industry insight
yeah.
and
Number one
advanced
attachments.
technical expertise to uncover and solve your digital transformation challenges. If you're interested in learning more, check out our website at bakertilly.com/digital.